woodwinds, brass, percussion, strings. That is the order those instrument families will always appear in a musical score, regardless of whether or not it's a band or orchestra score. Woodwinds first, then the brass, followed by the percussion, and concluding with the strings. Understanding that order is the first step to understanding what score order is. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact order that each instrument in both band and orchestra scores are formatted. So let's not waste any more time and get right into the rest of the video. Before we can move on to talking about the exact order the instruments appear in a score, let's first back up a little bit and ask ourselves, what even is a score? Which for me personally, I would define the score as being the master copy of the music. And as you can see right here, it contains all of the individual instruments' written parts on it, so that way the conductor, director, or ensemble leader is able to know exactly what should be happening at any given moment in a piece, which really allows for the rehearsal process to be a lot more efficient and productive. That is the importance of having a score. And now that we have that covered, I'm going to break down specifically what the order of each instrument is in both band and orchestra scores, because there are some differences between the two. So starting with band, the score order from top to bottom is as follows: piccolo, flutes, oboes, clarinets, bass clarinets, bassoons, alto sax, tenor sax, bari sax, trumpets, French horns, trombones, euphoniums, tubas, timpani, and percussion. If there are any instruments that have multiple parts, like for example trumpets 1, 2, and 3, then those parts will be listed in numerical order before moving on to the next instrument, which in this case would be French horn. So we would have trumpet 1, then trumpet 2, trumpet 3, and then move on to the French horn. There's also a debate on whether or not bassoon should be placed after the oboe part or after the bass clarinet part. But for me personally, I'm in the camp of having the bassoon part after the bass clarinet, just like I listed a second ago. The main reasoning being that the bassoon often shares a lot of parts with the bass clarinet because they are both pitched in the lower register. It also comes after the bass clarinet in full orchestral scores as well. And speaking of which, let's get into that, shall we? I'm going to list from top to bottom the complete order for full orchestra, which includes strings, winds, and percussion, and is as follows: piccolo, flutes, oboes, clarinets, bass clarinets, bassoons, French horns, trumpets, trombones, tuba, timpani, percussion, other instruments, violin, viola, cello, and bass. When I say other instruments, that means additional instruments to the normal orchestral setting, such as harp or piano. And those other instruments would go in between the percussion and violin parts. Also, I'm not sure as to the reason why, but the horn part actually comes before the trumpet part in an orchestra score. In band, the trumpet part comes before the French horn part. Again, I'm not sure as to the reason why, but I just find it interesting that it's different. Alright now, the final ensemble we're going to talk about is the Strings Only Orchestra, which is very common in the middle and high school setting. The order is going to end up being the same as full orchestra, just without the winds and percussion, which is as follows: violin, viola, cello, and bass. There are some situations where percussion is added to a strings-only orchestra, and in those occurrences, the percussion would come after all of the strings parts, which would be the only exception to the normal order of the instrument families, which, if you remember from the start of the video, is woodwinds, brass, percussion, then strings. Unless it's a strings-only orchestra, which then means it would be strings and then percussion if written. And that, my friends, is score order. So there you have it, the score order for band, full orchestra, and strings-only orchestra. And if you go into the description of this video, I've actually included a free PDF that has the score order for those 3 ensembles all written out. That way you can download it and use it as a reference whenever you need it. But hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss another video. Until then though, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.